Hello, I'm Cody.
And I'm Justin.
And I'm Cody. Welcome to the Discriminating Gamer,
the board game review show that dares to ask the question, hey, you gonna eat that?
Today, we're going to be taking a look at a board game based on an absolutely awesome TV show with a pedigree that dates back to the 1970s. And just like the TV show, the board game is all about war, politics, betrayal, the quest for resources, and just trying to keep everybody alive.
That's right. Today we're going to be talking about Dallas the board game, where you take on the role of J.R. Ewing in your quest to amass great amounts.
Justin! We're not reviewing Dallas the board game, we're reviewing Battlestar Galactica the board game.
Oh! Right, Battlestar Galactica the board game. Yeah. That's where you take on the role of James T. Kirk as you captain the USS Enterprise in your quest to defeat evil Lord Vader and his Dalek minions.
No, Justin, it's Battlestar Galactica. It's not Star Trek, it's not Star Wars, it's Battlestar Galactica.
Alright, look, Cody, you know I'm only allowed to watch PBS, okay? I don't understand this crazy science fiction lingo about phasers and starships and deodorant. Look, I don't get the references when people say things like live long and prosper and may the force be with you and stop hitting on my grandma, you crazy loser.
Justin, I'm sorry. I just assumed you were familiar with the TV show.
Gotcha. I got you, Cody. Of course I've watched Battlestar Galactica. I fracking love it. But you gotta admit though, Edward James almost had you going there for a minute.
Let's just get on with the review.
The reimagined Battlestar Galactica was an amazing TV series. It had everything from political intrigue to nuclear holocaust to martial law.
Half-naked robot chicks.
Space battles, mutinies, suicide missions.
Half-naked robot chicks.
Greek mythology, the spiritual battle between good and evil, and epic struggles for survival.
Half-naked robot chicks.
Now, if you haven't seen the show, in a nutshell, it's about a distant civilization that is destroyed by an evil group of robots called Cylons, some of which look human.
Half-naked Sorry.
Now, for the purposes of this review, we're going to assume that you've already seen the TV series. If you haven't, well, you might as well pull the plug now because you're just taking up oxygen. The one thing you need to understand about Battlestar Galactica, the board game, is that it is absolutely dripping with theme. If I were to use one word to describe the mood of the TV series, I would say paranoia. If I were to use one word to describe the mood of the game, I would say paranoia, smoking crack while wearing an American flag in the middle of a KGB convention.
Now, the first thing you need to know is that this game is structured like a cooperative game. 3 to 6 players are going to take on the roles of actual characters from Battlestar Galactica, like Commander Adama, or Apollo, or Starbuck, Chief Tyrrell, or maybe even President Roslin or Gaius Baltar.
Now, choosing these roles are very important because each character comes with certain skills that are represented by the different colored cards they can draw during their turn. These colored cards represent skills such as tactics, piloting, leadership, engineering. Now, you want to go ahead and pick characters with complementary skill groups. You neglect playing with certain skill groups at your own peril.
There will also be a president and an admiral, special leaders who have incredible political and military power in the game.
Now, throughout the game, your character can take one action on your turn. You can move to a different location on the Galactica and take advantage of its abilities, such as launching more Vipers here, or firing the ship's guns against your Cylon enemies here, activating your FTL to make a faster-than-light jump, or the Armory, where you can fight against Cylon boarding parties. You can also take actions printed on some of your skill cards, or some characters even have special abilities.
After you take your action, however, you're going to have to draw a crisis card. Now, crisis cards are very important in the game. In a way, they kind of drive the game. They're going to give you a lot of information. For instance, they may tell you that you can move one step closer to taking a faster-than-light jump. Or they may order Cylon ships around the board. You may draw a crisis card that activates an entire fleet of Cylon ships ready to pounce. Most of the time, however, you're going to be required to do a skill check.
And this is where your individual characters matter. Skill checks are usually going to have a pass-fail requirement. If you pass them, something good may happen, but if you fail them, something bad is definitely going to happen. These crisis cards are going to ask for specific skill colors that add up to a certain number. Now, one at a time, players are going to put some of their skill cards into a skill check deck, along with 2 random cards from the Destiny deck.
Players are forbidden from saying exactly what they're putting in, however. They can only give vague clues like, I can help a little or I can help a lot.
The cards are shuffled together and then revealed. Every skill card color that matches what was asked for in the crisis card counts as a positive, while colors that weren't asked for count as a negative. Now, if you fail a skill check, more than likely something will happen here. These 4 dials represent Galactica's fuel, food, morale, and population. Now, failed skill checks usually mean that you're going to lose 1 or more of these resources. If every one of these dials reaches 0, the humans lose the game.
Because you have to draw a crisis card on every player's turn, some players are going to start running low on their skill cards before they can draw more skill cards at the beginning of their next turn. Pretty soon, you and everybody is going to have to decide which skill checks can we fail, which resources can we lose.
Now, the game sounds pretty tough, doesn't it? Well, that's not the case at all. The game is amazingly fracking difficult because, oh yeah, 1 or more of the players secretly wants Galactica to fail.
That's right. 1 or more of you is going to be an intergalactic Benedict Arnold.
Now, at the beginning of each game, each player is dealt a loyalty card. These cards will determine whether you are A, a noble human, or B, a dastardly Cylon skin job who can pass for a human. Now, the game is weighted so that there are always more humans at the beginning of the game than Cylons. Now, if you're a Cylon player, you have to keep it secret for most of the game because you don't want people finding out who you are. You even go so far as to pretend to help the humans, though you'd rather see Galactica burn in space.
Now, if you are the space-age Alcibiades, you're going to be playing your skill cards a little bit differently than everybody else. You're deliberately trying to sabotage the Galactica. So what that means is you're going to want to play skill cards that have a different color than what the crisis card is asking for. Now, since everybody plays their cards anonymously, nobody will ever know who this space opera Vidkun Quisling is.
But that would be just too easy. You see, halfway through the game, each player gets a second loyalty card. That means if you were a human and you suddenly draw a Cylon card, you're no human anymore. You were actually a Cylon sleeper agent and you just didn't know it.
Your loyalty can change on a dime. You'll go from being a human good guy to being a sci-fi Alger Hiss.
And now, here's where the game gets really intense. Because as these dials get closer and closer to 0, you and your friends will be sweating each decision, questioning each other's motives, and the accusations will fly. Everybody will be accusing everybody else of being a Cylon, while the real Cylon just sits back and revels in the chaos that he or she has created, all the while screaming like everybody else, "I'm not a fracking Cylon!"
And that is the magic of Battlestar Galactica, that paranoia that you and your friends will feel when you try to figure out just who those interstellar Kim Philbys are.
All right, Cody, enough with the historical references to traitors, okay? We get it. You're smart. You have a history degree. We're here to talk about Battlestar Galactica.
Right, Justin. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to communicate the depth of the betrayal that you will feel when that starfaring Guy Burgess is revealed.
Cody, knock it off.
Cosmic Lord Haha.
Stop it.
Future Ephialtes of Trachea.
Seriously, cut it out. Yes.
Sun-spanning Ferdinand Walsley Desterhazy.
All right, you just made that up.
Astro Aldrich Ames.
Okay, I've heard of him.
Hyperdrive Jumping Judas Iscariot.
Yes, definitely heard of him.
The humans win by making enough hyperdrive jumps to Cobalt.
Now, maybe we haven't done the best job of communicating to you just how intense this game is and how paranoid you'll be when you play it. So here's a collection of clips from a recent game we played which might better illustrate the point.
Play what you can, play what you can.
Those are clothes you have.
You guys are gonna hate me no matter which one of these I choose.
Because you're a Cylon?
Because I am not a Cylon. I hate this game so bad. I hate this game so bad. Because I'm not a Cylon. But it's like I can't even say it without a straight face. Alright.
4 to 8, he shoots at us. He hits us. He hits us. Shit. We got one more.
Play this card to add +2 to the roll.
What's that? I'm helping. That's one card. Wait, I'm not done.
So put a blue card in now. It screws us.
I'm not going to put a blue card in.
He's going to put a red one.
We've gone over this several times.
Stand as a Cylon from the beginning.
Go to FTL.
So what is this skill check for?
This is to get me out of the break.
Okay.
So, you guys are all dicks. Did you put that in, Cody?
What?
Did you put this red one in? We have 20?
No, we have 18 because that was 9. We have 18.
0.
Interesting. Only Cylons would have put that in.
4,
I didn't contribute any cards. How that
7. Oh, 8, 9, 10, I'm out!
So
looks guilty.
I'm a little devil.
The stink eye. You flashed me the stink eye.
I gave you the stink eye.
You gave me the stink eye.
I gave you the stink eye.
A lot on that.
All right, so we gotta get a 6 or better.
Yes!
Yes! Good job. Nope.
Jump, jump.
Oh, good.
I think that the two Silents have already contacted each other via text on their phones.
That's more nefarious than even I.
My phone's on the table.
God damn it.
The thing is, you've been indignant this whole time. But when have you really come through for Galactica?
I have come through on every turn because I have only used cards that help people, like I'm going to do right now. I'm helping out.
Ooh, what the heck? So, wow. Wow. So that's the game.
Everybody, great game, everybody.
Hopefully, that illustrated another point as well. You and your friends will be laughing constantly.
I loved Battlestar Galactica, the TV show. And this game is absolutely swimming in theme. I mean, the characters, the situations, the crises. It's like Fantasy Flight Games just reached into the TV set, pulled out the show, and put the whole thing in a box.
While the game initially seems somewhat intimidating, it's really a pretty straightforward game. There's a lot going on here to be sure, but there's no one thing that is really that difficult to understand.
One of the greatest things about this game, however, is that everyone is constantly involved. It's not about just what happens on your turn. After every action is taken, there's always a crisis card, which brings everyone together to the table to make decisions to either solve or cause problems for one another. The leadership positions are really cool too, because it puts certain players into unique positions of power that they can use or abuse throughout the game to help or hinder their fellow players. Now, as Cody said, if you like to laugh with your friends, this is the game to get.
There are 3 expansions to Battlestar Galactica on the market today. There's Pegasus, Exodus, and Daybreak. Each one adds several new rules and mechanics to the game.
What's cool about that is you can pick and choose what rules you want to play with. The game is totally customizable. You like playing with the Pegasus game board but not too crazy about landing on New Caprica? No problem. You want to use the new crisis cards from the Daybreak expansion, but you don't want to learn the mechanics of the Mutineers? Don't sweat it. It's all good, baby.
Cylons sneaking across the galaxy. Cobalt is a fallacy. We've been robbed. That's right. We're trying to find a new home, but we are not all alone. Somebody's a skin job. We are fighting heavy raiders. Somebody's a traitor. We get attacked. We need food and population to save our nation. What the frick? Someone is a sat on your dick. So we better just throw everybody here in a brick. Someone is a sign on your dick. So we're just gonna throw everybody here in a brick.
Battlestar Galactica is simply a great game. One of the best experiences you will have with a group of friends sitting around a table.
So our recommendation is buy it.
Buy it.
Buy it!
Oh, Shawn, you are a gem.
Listen, if you like this review, subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave a comment.
And if you don't like it, then keep your mouth shut.
Somebody help me on my feet again. And I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. I know what you're thinking. Why aren't you in the rest of this video? What do you think, my life is all candy canes and popcorn dreams? I have a job!